Welcome to the Startup Pregnant podcast, where we talk to creative leaders about what it means to be an entrepreneur and a parent. I'm your host, Sarah K. Peck. Hey everyone, I wanted to tell you about a contest we are running at Startup Pregnant. So we are doing a series, this 10 Core Values series, and for each mini episode, every day over the next 2 weeks, we are having a contest where you can win lots of amazing prizes. The prizes include one-on-one coaching to business books by amazing women authors to more. There's lots of fabulous goodies. The way you play is like this. At the end of each of these episodes, there is a reflection question for you to think about. So listen to the 10-minute episode and then answer the question. Go pop over to our blog at startuppregnant.com and write your answer to the question. And every time you post a comment, you get another chance to win. So the contest is open November 13th through November 30th, 2017. So I hope you enjoy. Take a listen to this episode and then go leave a comment on our blog to play in the contest. Today, we are on number 9 of our 10 core values of the Startup Pregnant philosophy. So if you've been following along, we are talking about the core values underlying our company and our beliefs and our media and everything we choose to do at Startup Pregnant. Core values are really important because what they do is they provide a framework for you to make decisions, to guide your actions, and to qualify and quantify how you do and why you do what you do. So when you're presented with a puzzle or an opportunity or something that comes your way, you say, well, I'm not really sure how to behave in this situation. You can look to your core values and you can use them. Some of the best core values in any business aren't trite single words. Like you can say that you value grit, or you can say that you value ambition, but what does it actually mean? The best core values are ones that you internalize and you start to believe, and that your employees and you yourself actually start to use in your own language. We can talk more about examples of this in a later episode, but today I want to dive into number 9. The 9th core value of the Startup Pregnant philosophy is this. Most of us have a 6th gear that we don't know about. So when we talk about energy levels and we talk about effort and we talk about what it takes to really go after something big, we have the capacity to do more than we think that we're capable of. Now, some people have told me when we started talking about these core values that it seemed like it was in contrast to core value number 4, life is not all hard labor. We're not always in hard labor at all times. So how do you reconcile these two philosophies? One, that life is not an all-out hustle sprint, but then we also have this 6th gear that we don't know about. The answer or the key here is that we aren't always operating at this 6th gear. In this specific philosophy or this specific principle and value, we have more than we think we're capable of, and we can tap into it. It's the ferocity and the fierceness that I mentioned earlier. I think on the episode just previous to this, the thing that is deep inside of creation and destruction. We have a power that we don't even always tap into. This is especially important when we think about pregnancy and birth as a metaphor. A lot of us don't know what our bodies are capable of until we tap into it for the first time. It doesn't have to be through pregnancy literally, and it doesn't have to be through childbirth. But for a lot of people, that's the first experience they have where they say, holy shit, I didn't know I was capable of that. There are other moments in our lives when things like this happen, when we are presented with extreme circumstances, when we're an athlete on a field, when we have to make really challenging decisions, when we have to step up and act. There is a moment often for a lot of people when you finally do something and later on you realize, I didn't even know that I was capable of that. So in this philosophy, we believe in the power of human potential, both individually and collectively. Parenting is one of those things that it's like, and I'm going to credit Mathias Jakobsen, who first explained this idea to me. He's like, it's like you're driving a car with 4 gears, and then you become a parent and you realize that you actually had 5 gears all along. And you're like, and you just start being able to drive in this 5th gear. And he said when his next child arrived, he's now the father of 3 kids. He said, it's like every child added another gear to my life. And knowing or not knowing that this gear exists is part of the exploration and the adventure of being human. And when faced with a challenge, we actually might have a sixth gear that we can tap into that we didn't previously know about. And watching humans give birth, if you haven't watched one of these YouTube videos of people giving birth, or you haven't seen someone give birth before, or you're just not even like in the realm of like, what is that thing? This is where humans are made. I wouldn't recommend pulling up YouTube like right at your work computer, but at some point, watch a documentary about birth or read a book about it and just see how wild it is to make humans. It is such an extraordinary feat. There's so much the business world can learn from this in particular. Beyond birth, too, there are so many extraordinarily humbling and awe-inspiring feats of strength, of power, of courage, of bravery. And that is what this core value gets to, that tapping into this capacity for power, for bravery, for courage, for strength. This is one of the beautiful things about being human. I'll break it down a little bit further and lean on Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, as some of an example of what I'm talking about. Because here, what we get into is this idea of resilience, of grit, and of capability. In her book, she talks about the difference between the belief in hard work and the belief in talent. And while most of us would say on the outset that we believe in the value of hard work, we actually prioritize talent. And there's a study that she references. It was a musical study. So there were a whole bunch of people who were applying for a job and they were musicians. And in the applications, they changed the words in the applications. One of them said they were a naturally talented musician, and the other one said they were a hardworking, striving musician. And then they had these music experts listen to the recording of the musician performing. The majority of the experts ended up selecting that they preferred the piece that was by the, quote, natural. However, the kicker is that on both occasions, it was the exact same recording that was played. So it uncovered this hidden bias that we have to believe that somebody who is naturally talented is better than somebody that's hardworking. And so she breaks down this equation of skill and achievement. And she says skill is about your talent level and the amount of effort that you put in. You develop your skill based on your talent and your effort. Well, you can't necessarily control how much talent you have, but you can control the effort. And then achievement is skill multiplied by effort. So when we take our skill and then we apply more effort to it, we get achievement. What this means is there's a phrase she uses is that your effort or the hard work counts twice. So where am I going with all of this? Why am I talking to you about working hard? Am I actually perpetuating the idea that we should be working harder and harder and harder and hustling more and more and more? No, not exactly. What I am saying is that we are capable of an extraordinary amount. How we pursue hard work and how we pursue tapping into this sixth gear depends. Sometimes it comes through an extraordinary challenge or an opportunity that comes in our life, something we may be working for a long time, the slow crescendo of pregnancy leading up to childbirth, or being a college athlete and working for 4 years and getting to the pinnacle of a championship event, or working for many, many years on a book and then having the book go through its final birthing process. And in addition, there can be one critical moment, or there can be the slow and steady march of somebody who gets up and works a little bit every single day. It's not about turning the dial up to 11 and then pushing play and saying you're going to work at 11 out of 10 from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. every single day, and then you're going to go and it's always going to be at that level. Instead, it's knowing that putting in the effort consistently, even a little bit over time, and rising to the challenge when the challenge arrives is what's most important. Sometimes we might even surprise ourselves with what we're capable of. That is our 9th core value of the Startup Pregnant philosophy, that we have a 6th gear that most of us don't even know about. And you are capable of so much, listener. Each and every one of you are capable of extraordinary things. And often we don't even know how much we are capable of. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, When you hop over to startuppregnant.com and you leave a note on this blog post that relates to this podcast, there's a post for every episode. Go leave a comment and share your experience and answer the reflection question. When in your life have you tapped into the sixth gear or done something beyond what you thought you were capable of? And how did your worldview change because of it? Share your reflection on the blog over at our website, startuppregnant.com. And do the things that we always ask you to do, like hit subscribe and leave a review. If you're already doing that, we love you so much for doing that. It helps get the word out. And share these episodes with friends that you think might benefit from listening to them. We love making this podcast. It is such a joy to be able to do and to bring to you week over week. We are going to have the last of the 10 by 10 coming up next. So I'll see you on the next episode, and then we will be back to our long form interviews. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next episode.